faith is that we have an effect on everything around us, including the waves, including the water, including everything we believe, everything we observe and look at, we affect by our belief or our faith. And so Peter, when he believed he could walk on the water, he looked at that, he saw the possibility, he entered into it. But then fear, which is a lower force, brought him back into the classical laws of physics, and he began to sink.
You know, I said something to the Lord about that one time. I said, now, Lord, why did you call Peter out of the boat when he didn't have water walking faith? And he said, I didn't do it. And I said, but Lord, I know you did. He said, turn to it and read it. And boy, I turned to it and I read it. And Peter said, Lord, if it be you, bid me to come. He said, what was I going to say? No, Peter, it's not me.
He had to.
He said, if I hadn't have said come, I'd been lying. Because Peter painted him. This is what the Lord told me. He said, Peter painted himself in the corner. And there's nothing else I could do but say come. Now, there was enough anointing and faith in that one word, come, from the Lord Jesus, till the man could walk on the water. But then he began to observe circumstances, situations, and things that had nothing to do with what he was doing. And fearing, he began to sink. And that shows you that fear will take your faith away.
That's right.
And it doesn't happen all at once sometimes, but fearing, he began to sink. Have you ever seen anybody step in the swimming pool and began to sink?
No,
they step in there, they go chug, they're gone.
That's right.
So the point was that there was enough power of faith which gives substance to things hoped for. He hoped to walk to Jesus, and it was giving substance to it until he let it slip from him.
That's right. Absolutely. What he believed took him that far on the water. He observed it. Now, the interesting thing about it is, did Peter look at that water and say, I can do that? And by his looking at it and his belief, he actually changed the substance or the solidification of the water, and it enabled him to walk on it. How did that work? We really don't know exactly how it worked. But what we do know from quantum physics is every time something is observed, it responds to the observer. And we might say it responds to us. And I know for years you have taught that we can change things with our words, that words and faith affect things. Now, this table looks solid. It absolutely looks solid. It is a thing. It looks solid. But when you get down to the quantum level of it, there are atoms, there are electrons going around the atoms. There is movement in this table, in the actual makeup of the table. That means that it can change forms. If it was burned, it would become energy. Energy becomes matter. Matter becomes energy. But the Bible tells us that we can affect matter, because Mark 11:23 says, For verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe. Remember, Jesus said all things are possible to him that believeth. But shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass. He shall have whatsoever he saith. Now, he said, that if you say to this mountain, which is an object, be removed and be cast into the sea, and you believe and doubt not in your heart, that whatever you say, if you believe it, it will come to pass. Now, it may not happen instantly, but it will happen, because our words and our faith affect things down to the microscopic level, down to every part of the atomic structure. That's why things will respond to faith.
Yeah. And Jesus proved that in every situation. The problem is so many times that people, they read and find out what Jesus said, but up here they can't wrap their mind around it. That's why Paul said the carnal mind is enmity against God, not subject to the law of God. The law of God he's referring to is the law of faith, which like you say, it fits right in with quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and things where it doesn't function as it does in the natural realm. So that's why Paul said faith works in the heart, won't work in the head. And you know, sometimes I say the reason faith won't work in the head, there's no substance up there. The substance is in the heart.
True on many levels sometimes. That's right, because intellectual knowledge or intellectual belief, you know, you can have an intellectual belief, has no force or power to it. But the belief in the heart is what brings about change in the things around you. And if we want to bring it down just to everyday living, then you know as well as I do, and so does everyone else out there, that if you go somewhere and you expect good things to happen to you, you create something around you that we would call an energy or a force of faith or belief. It is something that is just around you, and when you go